Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Monday, and welcome to Faith, Purpose, Profit, what I like to call FPP Monday, a time we connect all things faith, purpose, and profit. FPP Live, I should have said. I'm Nicole Roberts Jones, your bankroll your brains expert. Always excited to be here with you every Monday, 7 p.m. EST. I come to you live to share with you how you connect all three. Because I see so many people that think you have to do purpose and profit separate from your faith. I'm here to tell you and show you, and really God dropped in my spirit that He wanted me to hold the space to show you that all three are needed and necessary. So as you're coming in, number one, tell me hello, tell me name and where you're joining from, number one. And number two, if you have questions, if I say things that are resonating with you, I want to know. I'll come in and shout you out at the end because I can't talk and chew gum. Meaning that I want to stay focused. I have notes. My goal is to be here 30 minutes, give you great insight. And I can't stay focused on my notes and shout you out at the same time. So I'll try to do some at the beginning and then I'll come back at the end. But I do come back and try to answer your questions, those of you that are live. All right. So again, come on in, as my grandmother would say, don't walk in this house and not speak. So I'm continuing with a series that we started last week, which is Income with Impact. It's a 7-part series, and you need to understand that if you're going to be the man, the woman that God has created you to be in this world, in the last series that I did, which talked about why your business is important to God. And by the way, if you've missed any of the series that I'm talking to you about, you can always go back and watch previous episodes on my podcast, Hey Joy, which is fpppodcast.com. You can always go back and watch previous episodes. So in that previous series, I talked about a lot about your purpose and why it was important. That was a 6-part series. In the 7th part, I'm going over the environment because your purpose sits in an environment. Okay. Both are needed. And so this is part 2 in this series. Again, this series is Income with Impact. And today our conversation is a delay is actually an indicator for business growth. It is. And let me tell you why I'm even titling this message is an indicator. Because I see so many entrepreneurs who quit when they see a delay. They think, oh, it's not working. Oh, this must not be what God really said to me. I must have have been off around my vision. Maybe I misunderstood God. No, you didn't misunderstand it. No, you weren't off. See, God oftentimes takes us a roundabout way to get to the exact place. And can I just keep it real? We think it's a roundabout way, but it was always God's intention for us. It just wasn't what we expected. And so, right out of the gate, let me say to you, your expectations and God's expectations don't always line up. If he's going to do as it says in Ephesians 3:20, one of my favorite Bible verses, probably yours too, especially if you're someone that comes here week after week, I say this all the time. If God's going to do exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or think, if it's bigger than what you could ever fathom, then it's going to be beyond your expectations. So if you feel like it's a delay, can I tell you right now, it's because it's outside of your expectations. It's something that you would have never thought of. It's going to happen in a way you could have never fathomed. And because of that, many people quit. And so I'm going to give you some insight that I hope will be a stick strategy for you. Because oftentimes, when you get to the edge of that quit, your breakthrough is on the other side of that quit. Many people quit because they're tired, they're frustrated, because they feel like they've tried everything and they're like, well, maybe this isn't working because I wasn't meant to. That's not real. And as you know, in this series, we're following Joseph as our example. So let's jump right in. So, what happens when God gives you purpose and it seems like your purpose isn't working? hmm That's the conversation I want to have with you in this episode. So let's dig in. Now, I want to start, before I start talking about Joseph, I want to start with a Bible verse we all know when we talk about purpose. And really, it's a conversation around vision. And we all know Habakkuk 2:2 that says, right, the vision to make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. So when we get a vision, we all are always good about writing it down and we excited when we get the vision. When God gives us an idea, a thought, a dream, some business idea, we get excited about it. That's the beginning. The beginning is always exciting. It's like when you first start dating. When you first start dating, it's always exciting. It's the middle part that is the part that's frustrating and makes you want to quit. And see, people don't talk about the middle. They talk about the beginning and the excitement of having the vision. They talk about the end and all the things that happen at the end when the realization happens. But what about the middle? Oh, people forget about the middle part. People forget to share about what happens in the middle. That's where I want to pick up our conversation because it's the middle that I want to talk about. So Habakkuk 2, 4, 3, which is what people don't always talk about, it says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. But at the end it was speaking, it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." Now listen, tarry means a delay or tardy, or be tardy in acting. It means to linger in expectation. Hello. So it says, though it tarries. That's why Joyce says the messy middle. And nobody talks about the messy middle. Oh, we forget, though the middle may be messy. Matter of fact, you can't write testimony unless you write test first. I think God allows the middle to be messy to see, can you stand to be blessed? Do you deserve to be blessed? Will you do the work it takes to be blessed? Or do you only want the easy? Do you only want the good times? What do they say in your marriage vows? For good times and bad times, for better or worse, for richer or poorer? Are you only going to stay in richer and not poor? Are you only going to stay for better and not worse? I think God allows the delay to see if you will stay in your purpose, in your vision, in your dream, though it tarries. Though it doesn't come the way you expected, though it's not wrapped in the pretty Tiffany box you thought, though it's wrapped in a crumpled up newspaper, will you still say yes to it? Because God called you to it. And that's where I want to pick up Joseph's story. Though it tarries. So, as you know, and if you missed our first episode, again, I want to encourage you to go listen to our first episode on our podcast, fpppodcast.com. The way I teach, you need the first to get the second. This is the second, all right? So, picking up Joseph's story, again, a delay is actually an indicator for business growth, for purpose growth, for vision growth. It really is. I've seen this happen over and over in my own business. Those of you that haven't heard my story, when my business was broke and broken, and I was ready to quit, done, wasn't working. And I said, God, if this is you, I need you to show me something. See, I had taken myself as far as I could take myself. See, what happens is you get to a place where you are done with what you know. It's going to take a whole new level of tools for you to get to the next. That's that expansion of your territory that the prayer of Jabez talks about. Y'all are going to see how all these prayers intersect. All these different stories that we've heard about for years in the Bible, all these different things intersect here in this series. When Jabez said, Lord, please expand my territory, he was saying, Lord, I want to do more for you. If you want to do more for God, see, when you're in a delay, it's because God needs you to grow for you to go to the place he's given you. So though it's hairy. And the waiting doesn't mean to sit and wait. It's like look and see where you need to grow. Because here's what I know from my own journey. The reason my business was delayed is because my butt, come on and out myself. My ego was in the way, and I kept saying I should know how to do this, but I didn't. And I wasn't going to get the tools I needed. I kept doing the same thing over and over and expecting a new result. And God was looking for a new me to come forth. So I'm here to call out the new you to come forth. And that's where I want to pick up Joseph's story. Okay. So with that, let's pick up from where we left off our last episode, Genesis 37, 26 through 27. So Judah said to his brothers, this is one of Joseph's brothers, what profit is there if we kill our brother, talking about Joseph, and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brothers listened. The thing I think is interesting, so again, in my last week, we talked about the fact that his brothers were haters and they had plotted to kill him because Joseph had this vision that he was going to rule over him. Rule over them. And so instead, one of the brothers said, wait a minute, what profit is there if we kill our brothers? The thing I think is interesting is when I was reading this, what came to me is Proverbs 21, 1 through 2. Now, this has nothing to do with the story, but listen to this Bible verse. Well, excuse me, Proverbs 21, 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Like the rivers of water, he turns it wherever he wishes. Let me read that one more time. The king's hand is in the hand of the Lord. Like the rivers of water, he turns it wherever he wishes. Now, what's a king got to do with Joseph's brothers? I need you to understand this. God is always in the middle of everything. So God knew when he gave Joseph that vision that Joseph was going to be so doggone excited that he was not going to be able to keep it to himself. And he used it to put Joseph in a position to grow him. He also knew that his brothers were going to hate him, but God didn't want them to kill him. See, God knew to turn Judah's heart to say, you know what profit would it be for us to kill our brother? That was God. Y'all get that? So when your boss who doesn't appreciate you at work all of a sudden has a turn of events, that's God. But listen, it's because of who you be in the middle of that. And that's what I really want you to get tonight. I'm going to talk to you about who you be in the middle of it. Okay? Because what you have to understand, and I think this is a testament to who Joseph was in the middle of it. I'm gonna say this word wrong. It was his emotions that made the difference. Now, before I give you the equation and tell you what I mean, let me further go off into another piece of the story, and then I'm gonna break down what I mean by his emotions made the difference, okay? So now what's interesting is we go off, he gets sold into slavery, Joseph does. And then it all of a sudden goes off to him being in Potiphar's house. And it doesn't, it skips all these years in the Bible and it doesn't tell you what happened to Joseph. I don't know if he was traveling. I don't know if he was serving. I don't know. It just skips all this time and doesn't say how much time has passed. It just goes from him being sold into slavery to all of a sudden it goes into Genesis 39, 1 through 2. So again, it goes into Joseph being sold and then it goes into Genesis 39, 1 through 2. Okay. Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt. By the way, Genesis 38 is this whole analogy of who was born by who, and it just skipped Joseph altogether. And all of a sudden, it goes to Genesis 39 and says, "Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt." It's like, well, what happened in between? But anyway, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him from the Israelites who had taken him down there. The Lord was with Joseph, and he was a successful man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. Now, why do you think that's important? Why do you think it's important to that Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard of Egypt, bought him? Why do you think that's important? Then it goes on to say, oh, and it also says, sorry, why do you also think it's important that the Bible said that God's hand was with him? And let me read this and I'm going to tell you why I think it's important. Want to hear what y'all also, and go read it for yourselves. We'd love to hear it. Then I'm going to skip down to verse 21. This is all in chapter 39. I'm skipping around because y'all don't have time for me to read the whole Bible, right? The whole Bible to you. But go read it. But the Lord was with Joseph. This is chapter 39 still. So what I just read was verse 1 through 2. Now I'm skipping down to verse 21 through 23. Again, chapter 39. Okay, y'all with me? But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy, and he gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners who were in the prison. Whatever they did there, it was his doing. The keeper of the prison did not look into anything that wasn't under Joseph's authority because the Lord was with him. And whatever he did, the Lord made it prosper. Why? Why did Joseph have all this favor? So I really want you to understand two things about Joseph, okay? He was full of God's presence. Now, do you ever see any verse that talks about Joseph acting a hot mess? Now, I don't know about y'all, but if my brothers came against me, first of all, if I had haters for brothers, now I'm from the hood. Now, y'all don't know this version of Nicole because I did a whole lot of work on me, which is why I know some of my blessings have been delayed because God had to do a whole lot of work on a ghetto South Central LA Nicole. I said ghetto because that is who I used to be. Hello. She still services every now and then, so you might get a little. I call myself bougetto because I'm a little bougie, little ghetto. You get both. So some of her surfaces, but a whole lot of her does not because I had to work on her. But there was a version of me that when you said anything to me that was foul, oh, you would get cussed out immediately. And why am I saying that? Because I had to learn how and why my emotions were getting the best of me. See, my emotions will react first instead of me thinking about what would happen based on my reaction. See, what I began to learn is this, and I'm going to share this equation with you, which is what I began to learn. I call it my E plus R equals O. Those of you that are here with me live see it there on the screen. My E plus R equals O. What do I mean by that? See, in any given situation, it's your emotion plus your reaction equal your outcome. So in any given situation, when something happens, you have a emotion that comes up. If it's anger, if it's fear, if it's oh no, she didn't, which is anger. So it's your reaction that happens based on that emotion. So when Joseph's brothers did all the things to him, his reaction could have been a whole lot of things. So I want you to think about yourself for a minute. When you're in a parking lot and somebody steals your parking space, what's your reaction? And see, the outcome that happens is based on your reaction. So if you then, somebody speeds in front of you, do you get out and get all in their face in the parking space? Or have you had to learn, because I used to be me, how to go, okay, well, I'll get another parking space. That's not going to steal my joy. And do you move on? When your boss acts, takes away, maybe they take away your break, or they tell you can't have the day off, although you have time off to spare in your account. And maybe your boss, like I had a boss that knew I was working on my business and would just hate on me just because he was trying to keep me from working on my business and would do things just to spite me. And sometimes I think he would try to do things so he could find reasons to fire me. And I needed that daytime job, which I used to call my investor. Hello. And I knew he was trying to get reaction out of me because had I reacted the way I wanted to react, the outcome would have been me being fired. Me being fired would not have allowed me to work on my business. Are you guys getting my point? So, what happens when you're in a place or a space and you allow that situation to cause an outcome that will not be conducive to your vision, your purpose, your dream? Even dare I say, I have clients. I have people that try me, clients that try me. None of my current clients, I'm not talking about any of you that are here, that will try me and do things that are not, let me say the things that are not professional. That just act so unprofessional. And I have to decide in that moment, am I going to let my emotions get the best of me? Am I going to rise above it? So the thing that I love about Joseph's story is he was always letting his light shine. The reason I believe back in where is it? Genesis 39, 1 through 2, when it says the Lord was with Joseph and he was a successful man, the reason why he kept getting raises is because I believe he was letting his light shine, that people could see God in him. You know that your reaction either lets your light shine or it dissipates your light. What do I mean by letting your light shine? Matthew 5:16 says, let your light so shine among men, I always say and women, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So again, if we're going back to that, my E, my emotion, plus my reaction equals the outcome. Your emotion in that moment. If the enemy's coming to steal, kill, and destroy, going to John 10:10, he's going to work through your emotions, y'all. If he knows you have a call on your life, and each of you are called, every single one of us is called. Every single one of us have a gift. Every single one of us have been put here on assignment. If God has put an assignment on your life, he's going to use that emotion to get you out of alignment. I was listening to T. Jakes. When was this? I'm always listening to somebody. T.D. Jakes, Tori Roberts, somebody. I think this was T.D. Jakes. And he was talking about how he was in a parking lot, which is why I use this example. And this guy was acting a complete fool and trying to steal his parking spaces. This happened to me too. How many of y'all been in some parking lot somewhere and somebody acted a complete fool and swerved in front of you and tried to get your parking space? Oh, this has happened to me. And so TD Jakes got out of the car and mind you, he was bishop over his church at the time, knocked on his window and said, "Excuse me." And he said he was angry because he had kids in the car. He said, "But that doesn't matter because it dissipates who he is as a bishop. People don't care about that. They're not going to say, oh, he had kids in the car. He was upset about the kids." Mm-mm. Because the outcome, had it gotten the paper on the radio, so you can't manage what other people do to you, but you can manage how you react to it. The thing I believe that Joseph manages so well is his reaction. The thing that I believe that gave him favor over and over and over again was his reaction. Oftentimes they talk about you can get bitter or be better. The reason I believe after my last bad breakup, and some of y'all have been here for a while, so you've heard me talk about my last bad breakup, right? I met my husband the next day. I believe, listen, I kept being in the same play over and over again. I promise you, I kept dating the same man. I'm like, why does this keep happening? And I realized the common denominator was me. When I finally learned the lesson and I said, oh, and I got it, I stopped being mad at every man and I got a clue that it was me and I shifted who I be and I learned the lesson. Some of you are not learning the lesson. You're blaming everybody else. It's the emotion plus your reaction equals the outcome. You're blaming everybody else, but you're not taking the time to look at you. Those of you that joined me during the Rich in My Niche Summit, this is the Into Me. I see time you need to spend time with you because until you get that right, your business will never grow. So the delay is happening because your emotion is delaying you because your reaction is shifting your outcome for the bad. And when God has called you to something so great, your reaction will make sure, hello, Will Smith, because his emotion plus his reaction ended up being a horrible outcome. Come on, somebody. No judgment, but that's real, y'all. Had he allowed his emotion to calm down long enough and had a conversation with Chris Rock later, the outcome would have been altogether different. And so the years he spent working on his career dissipated in not even five, probably 5 seconds. How many minutes did it take him? 2 minutes to walk up on that stage and do that? Your emotion plus your reaction equals the outcome. And all the years of hard work can be gone in a moment. And so I really want you to think about this. There are 3 P's I want you to think about this. Well, first of all, I want you to walk away with 2 things, 2 ways your emotions really affect your ability to move your purpose, your vision forward. Okay. So I really want you to check yourself and really look at where you are, because again, you want to look at the environment your purpose is sitting in. And if you think, oh, I got it all on lock, then you're lying to yourself, because I have to do an emotional check almost every day. Listen, my pastor used to say, the bigger the level, the bigger the devil. So the bigger you get, listen, I remember when one woman, gone through my program, finished the entire program, and then she had the nerve to try to sue me over the program, saying she didn't go through it. Excuse me, you went through the whole program. So just because you didn't implement it doesn't dictate me having to give you a refund. Not my problem that you didn't implement it. You came to every single call. I remember you being on the calls, but thankfully I have a CRM that I can go back and get my receipts. So she had the state that she lives in. She had the nerve to go down to the state courthouse to try to summon me to court. So not only could I pull up every email where she tried to email me after and ask could she give it to one of her friends. I said, well, you could have had you asked us before the program was over. We're not friendly with somebody on our team, but you went through the whole program and now you're asking to transfer the membership to somebody else. The program's over now. So you can't do that now. One, two, I can send all those emails to the state that she lives in, and I can send the whole CRM back in so they can see that she opened up every module. But I didn't have any emotional response. I could have. I sent him all the emails, very professional. He said, number one, thank you for being so professional. And number two, you don't need to come to this state, to this courthouse. The case is closed. I didn't react the way that I was feeling because I was appalled. How could you? But you know what? I was like, let it go. Breathe. I had a moment. I had to let all of the emotions go. Bigger the level, the bigger the devil. Because had I acted in that emotion, baby, the outcome would have been a whole different thing. I'm sharing that with you because I need you to understand this, that as you grow your business, the delay sometimes is because God is waiting for you to grow you. He has so many things that he wants to gift you with you. He has so many expectations for you, but can you rise to meet the expectations he has for you? Mm-hmm. So your emotions affect your business, your ability to move your business forward. There are three P's that affect your business. Number one is procrastination. Some of you guys aren't moving, your business is moving forward because you are procrastinating. You make excuses as to why you can't do it now. Number one. Some of you have pain of the past. Some of that is because maybe you've tried before and failed. Oh, I can go all deep into that, and I'll tell you where I'm going to go even deeper into that. Some of it is perception. Some of it is perception. And so those three, just those three by themselves, is why I'm actually doing a special training now. I have so much more that I'm going to do than just go into these three areas. I'm starting it on Thursday. This Thursday, August 25th, called My Rich Journey, is going to be in my Facebook group. If you're not a member of my Facebook group, this is my invitation for you to join. This is a 4-week free training called My Rich Journey. So in 4 weeks, I'll walk you through the 4 areas that I've seen so many people not seen, but you guys have been sending us inbox messages and emails since the Rich in My Niche Summit ended about 4 areas. And some of those have been procrastination, pain of your past, perception, oh, so much more. I'll walk you through it. So I'm going to walk you through the 5 simple secrets to getting in your own rich rhythm because God has a rhythm for you. And some of that is why you are in delay. Week 2, how to effectively activate the principle of seed time and harvest into your business. Some of that is why you're in delay. Week 3, 5 shifts needed to consistently be successful because it's not about being successful one time. It's about being able to be successful ongoing. And then week 4, living in financial plus spiritual harmony. So every week I'll be live 1 p.m. EST in the Facebook group. If you cannot join me live, the replay will stay up for the whole week and then it will come down. Okay, but I am giving a free gift, and those free gifts will not be available the free week. So I may encourage you to join me live. I haven't decided how long I'm going to leave the free gift up yet. So thebreezetribe.com is where you go to join the Facebook group. Well, I will be live 1 p.m. EST again starting August 25th for 4 weeks. I'm walking you through the 4 areas that you've got to get clear on to really fundamentally be able to start or grow your business the right way. All right. So that's where I'm going to dig even more into those 3 P's that affect your emotions and really affect your ability to move your business forward. But can I tell you the other way that emotions affect your business is really it affects your ability to grow because God is testing your faith. He's testing, will you quit or will you grow? Will you do the work that it takes to grow? That's why so many, what is that saying? What's that saying? Many are called, few are chosen. See, all of us are called. The few that are chosen are the few that will stay in the work, that won't give up. So here's my questions I want you to really think about between part 1 and part 2, because y'all know we dig deeper. And I got some real good insight in part 2. But before we do that, when you're in a holding pattern, when you feel like you're in a delayed place, a tarry place, in what ways can you make the most of this growing place? Number 2, what lessons can you learn from where you are? And number 3, what might God be trying to teach you I want you to get clear, number one, in what ways can you make the most of this place? Don't stand still. Don't give up. That's not making the most of it. See, for me, I learned so much. It took me 17 years to get a clue the first time. Now, when I feel like I'm in delay, I'm like, okay, there's something for me to learn here. Let me figure it out. So I don't have to stay here long. I realize now that God is trying to show me something. And so I'm like, whatever it is, Lord, let me learn it sooner, quicker, faster so I won't be here long. Right? And so that's the journey I'm inviting you into. I really want you to think about this as we move into part two, before we move into part two. All right. So, with that said, that's our conversation for this part of our conversation for this week. Again, a delay is usually an actual opportunity or indicator for business growth. We're going to continue our conversation, part two, in Clubhouse tomorrow morning. Now, I'm got to tell you, part two I think is even juicier than part one. I'm just saying. So, you want to join me tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. EST plus? I'm able to hear you. So come on over to fppbreakfast.com and join us to continue our conversation tomorrow morning in Clubhouse. Now, as we end this part one, tell me the one thing you got valuable out of today. Tell me the one nugget you got out of this. Because here's the thing I want you to get, my sister, my brother that's listening to me right now. If you're in a holding pattern, if you're in that Terry place right now, then what it is an invitation for you to grow. And I'm going to hold the space for you to learn whatever it is so you don't have to stay stuck there. All right. So, with that said, it's always my honor and privilege. I look forward to digging deeper with you tomorrow morning. And I want to thank you for joining me for part one of FPP Live. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. All right. Take care. Bye.